We got right now. We just uploaded a great interview with Florida starting quarterback Anthony Richardson on the YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and give you the church announcements in the beginning. We need y'all. We need to get over 4,000 watched minutes, right? For
yes.
YouTube.
Yes.
That's the only thing that we're at.
Watch time minutes.
And it's a quarter, basically. Is it every 3 months?
No. It's a calendar year.
All right, so like basically just
run it up.
Like I watched I watched Monday's show in its entirety from my trip from Tallahassee back to here. We'll get into my trip from Tallahassee. I watched the whole Anthony Richardson thing. So like if you're watching and you're sharing, if you're one of the people who just really, really likes us and you want us to get the content again, you don't have to always. There's tons of different ways to show your support that aren't necessarily fiscal. It's like I said, one of the ways of showing it is just this way. Like just come out and support the content. And that's what I do. That's what we're all trying to do. And we're also trying to get people jobs, trying to get people reps. I am a content creator.
Does it feel weird saying that? Does it
feel
does.
Weird
call yourself?
I'm gonna really tell you.
It didn't even sound comfortable when you were like,
I'm not comfortable at all saying it. And
when they started calling me an influencer at the Comedy Zone, I was like, ew, is that what I am?
Yeah, I don't want to be an influencer, but like, I'm going to say this, and I guess it kind of segues me into kind of what we always do with the shows, or the way that because this is show number 4. The way it's been going is we start off kind of with the, like, hey, catching up, seeing what happened. A lot of appreciation for people who listened to the last show, shared the sound bites, the 1 minute clip. I appreciate Will and Jada for just, it was dope. Facebook gave me a 24-hour suspension because I called Will Smith a hoe. And I said he wouldn't punch the rock, wouldn't slap the rock, he slapped the right rock. And I still mean all of those things. And Will has since apologized, probably through his publicist, but now when emotions die down, the consequences of the potential consequences of things come in and you have to rectify, which was really, if you take away the entertainment value and a lot of the shock value, I guess, of what it came down to. And why is that, to be honest with you, I would respect him more. If he was really defending his wife, I would have respected him not apologizing. I don't have to agree with you for slapping Rock, but if that was your case, then good. Kudos to you. Protect black women, all that jazz. But when you apologize, you completely destroyed the one side of your argument that was sort of respectable. So it's not about defending your wife. Now it's about defending your image, which, if you would have been concerned about that, you could have crossed both. You could have crossed your T's and dotted your I's at the same time. Because again, the yelling, I would have been. It kind of read Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's think piece on it earlier today, which tons of think pieces have done. If he would have yelled, I would have been like, all right, man, that was unnecessary, but cool, I get it. If he would have done it as an acceptance speech, I would have got it. But all right, just my thing is you just picked on somebody who wasn't your size, but
that part.
I get paid to discuss whatever I choose to discuss. Now, I happen to be an athlete, a former athlete, and sports is what my main medium is. But everybody was talking about it. Shannon Sharp had his diatribes, and a bunch of other people had theirs. And the cool thing about me is that I have so many friends of differing opinions and differing backgrounds. There are a lot of people who I knew understood like where I was coming from, and there was people who didn't. But there was a lot of good conversations that came in. I actually had 2 or 3 friends, women friends, or whatever you want to call them, that know me, that reach out in my inbox and say like, yo, here's why I feel Will did what he did. It was respectable. It was respectful, excuse me. And it was like, all right, cool. I hear what you're saying. That's dope. Like, I appreciate you giving me your feedback and your opinion. I can grow from that. We can grow from that. That's the one thing that people don't take advantage of on social media is the opportunity to hear differing opinions and be able to either be stronger in what you feel or like learn and grow from it. What people have tried to turn social media into is if you don't agree with me, you're mad at me and you're the enemy. And a lot of it is just like we talk. So I say this to say like I've had friends who came up and like and commented on, and maybe it was a little slop, but it's more so me saying I'm at work, leave me alone. So like if you ever seen, I had a guy brother that came in was like, man, you care way too much about this, and I'm like, yo, and I told him, out of both of us, only one of us gets paid very well to have an opinion, and that's me. So like I'm doing my job. It's like if you don't agree with it, cool. Let's put something of intellectual thing on it. But I also thank them for their comment because they also don't understand the algorithm. Every comment, every like, every share helps that content become bigger and bigger. It helps it go viral, which one of the downsides of going viral is the weirdos. I expect weirdos who don't know me to come at me from a different space. I really could give one fuck, let alone two, what somebody who doesn't know me has to say. The only time it kind of does, little not stings, but like, when it's your people, it's like you trying to do your thing and trying to grow and try to become something, and they kind of like they talking to you like I'm James that works at CVS, not James that actually has a show, not James that's actually doing some things. And my way of deading it in a professional manner is saying that. And, I've had a couple people like they chose to get offended. And I'm like, you know me. Like, you've known me for years. And like, so now you want to, and now the problem is, now once you start talking disrespectful, you can be my mama. And we gonna have, and I'm gonna have the words back for you. I'm gonna give you that same energy. But I can't believe one of the things that's just so, that adults can literally fuck up relationships. Not like intimate ones, but like fuck up friendships over social media, over comments, over two motherfuckers that wouldn't piss on them if they were on fire.
Yeah, like, dog, you gonna fight me over Will?
That's what I'm saying. To be honest with you, you being a bitch now. Like, so like that's kind of what I want to say, but I will say what I want to say on this medium. I will say what I want to say to people I don't know or don't like. But when it's people who I consider like family, I try to bite my tongue until they decide that that's not okay. And I'll leave it with this. My OG T-Wig, awesome guy. We were sitting back talking and we agree on a lot of things. We disagree on a lot of things. But he was like, when he feels like there's a misunderstanding maybe, instead of like trying to take it there, we're going to just call me. And that's all I tell you. We're going to call me and say, hey, man, what's going on, bro?
That's a manly move.
It's a very manly. I don't want to even.
Grown up.
Yeah, it's a grown up move. I don't even want to like put it there. Because like I said the other day, I'm not one of them red pill talk guys. I like, it's just an adult thing to do. And I think I don't talk to, like, one thing I don't do, especially with my relationships with others, I don't send subliminal shots. It really irritates people too when they find out that I might have been just tweeting a song lyric. Like I might have just been. And what happens is when anybody who can, and this is how I look. When I go, Bobby, if I happen to see something on your timeline and you say, when I go to restaurants, I can eat whatever the fuck I want to eat. I'll eat a sandwich. I'll put my steak in 2 slices of bread if I want to.
Okay, you back on this steak.
No, what I'm saying, because that's something that just happened. You know what I'm not going to do?
What?
I'm not going to get pissy at you and say, oh, here you go. Because I don't think I control that much of your day.
Yeah.
That you, whose job is to be a comedian and do all these things, are giving me the energy. Because that costs money, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's...
I will say, I brought this up last show, but I didn't even get to my point. You said that if you see something on my timeline with me talking about it, my 8 o'clock for you last week was how are you going to see it if you don't follow me? James don't follow me on nothing.
I follow you on your friend on Facebook.
You know my @ name, so you tag me and stuff,
Wait a
but
minute.
you don't follow me.
I don't follow you on Twitter either?
No, you don't. You just tag me and stuff.
You're
you haven't
lying.
followed
No
me.
way.
I swear. This was my 8 o'clock for
No
months.
way.
Miles, Denny, they followed me. You introduced me to everybody. You still don't follow me. So how?
My bad. My bad. We're gonna correct that today. My fault. I assumed I thought I followed you.
No, you don't. You don't. I've been sitting on that for a couple weeks.
Maybe that explains why I can't get mad at your subliminal shit because I don't follow you. But also, you weirdos that don't know me or don't like they get mad like you on my post. Like, not forget the people who follow me. You know, great. I appreciate you. Again, I'm dead to fuck serious. Comment on that. Give me information. Let's have intellectual debates. It helps. It helps me in numerous ways. I need the views and the follows. And going, I don't even like going viral because viral brings about some weird shit.
I don't think I've ever gone viral.
But the weirdos that come out of place and I go look at, so before I comment sometimes, and particularly on Facebook, I go look to see, all right, are we even friends? And it's like, add a friend. And I'm like, okay, well, they've got to know somebody I know, right? So then I go to mutual friends. And there's no mutual friends. And then I look at where they're from. They're like from South Dakota. I've never been to fucking South Dakota. I don't even know where South Dakota is on the map. And then one of the guys who I asked him if he was like the president of, before I got booted, because they wanted Facebook suspended me, I was just like, fuck it. And it's really the most freeing thing I've ever done. I just killed the notifications because I couldn't respond. So it really, my day was going great until, somebody else decided that they wanted to get, sensitive. And here's a free game by big game. If you are dating or you know a Florida dude, a Florida male, that's one of your friends, don't call him a bitch. Don't tell them that they act like, oh, don't call him a bitch ass N-word. Yeah. Like, that's fighting words. Like, be ready to scrap. Don't hide in femininity when you do that kind of stuff. So that's not subliminal. So if you're listening, you know exactly who you are. So, like, I'm not going to give you the platform to give you the name, but I'm just telling other people, let's learn from this opportunity. And because you'll get, for me, that's how you'll get cussed out. There really is, once you start hurling insults at me in general, there really is no intellectual discourse that's going to happen. But just the housekeeping stuff, going viral, while it's beneficial to my stuff, it really ain't all it's cracked up to be. And none of the stuff that I said was to try to be controversial. It's how I felt. But I also know this is like the 1 minute sound clip, if you thought, I was like, damn, was my energy like that the whole show? But then I listened to the show, I was actually, before that point, it was actually really cool and calm. Like, some people like, your whole argument is over her. I said, no, actually, I painted out a very thorough argument about why it was about Will. It's really, I could really care less about Jada and what she does, but it was just funny. It's funny to see the whole world explode over this. I hope it goes away. I don't really even want to talk about this shit anymore. So
I have some questions for you.
Okay, go ahead. Let's get it.
Do you want to talk about this real quick? Your interview with Anthony Richardson that you put up. All right.
Right.
So what was that like as a Florida State guy talking to AKA mentoring, pretty much the guy who's we gotta play each other.
Well, let's go back to how I know Anthony. Anthony's coach to Derek Daniels from high school is a friend of mine. And so I know him really, really well. And how Anthony got hooked up with Denny was Derek was like, I have a quarterback that's got talent, and I need him to get with Denny so I can train. So I hooked those guys up. And again, full transparency, my best male friend right now is a Gator fan. My boy OJ. And it's funny because we go back, but he graduated from Florida State, but he's a Gators fan. And we talk about a lot of stuff and things like that. And that's how I got to know Anthony's coach. And I fell in love with the story. Bigger than where you went to college, to me, is what college provides, college sports, because I think college is a racket. But college sports provides young men who have hyperactive testosterone levels that can play a sport to be able to get into an arena where you can get a college degree for free, which is a racket because it costs too much. For what the cost to like production valuation for me isn't good enough. But if I can go for free, I get to showcase my talent in front of millions to be able to get the opportunity to make millions in the NFL or play for a fan base that will literally follow me for the rest of my life if I do make plays.
Yeah.
And I've seen it happen for me, as I've joked before.
Yeah.
Nobody eats more off of one touchdown than I have over my career. Florida State fans have been really, really...
I love your self-awareness.
Yeah. Which, again, goes back to my other thing. Like, nobody talks about me as good or bad as I talk about me. Like, I am very aware.
That's a bar.
It's like, and some of the things I talk about are my insecurities. And the dope thing about having a platform that I don't mind speaking on is I get to share with you guys my insecurities, and that's how I get over them. Like, the one person got an argument with me. I got a fuck Jada's bald head. I had a big head. I had a big head my whole life.
Same
It
here.
shows on this YouTube
Same
video
here.
for sure.
I'm saying, like, pictures, and like sometimes I look at it like, God damn, my head is big.
Yeah.
And if I go to a comedy show, or if I go to an award show,
And you sit in the front.
and I sit in the front, I expect them to talk about my head. I'm ready for it. My offensive line jokes I've ever heard in my life were from offensive line.
Yo,
Yeah.
because they
know, they've heard it all.
Yeah.
Like,
they can get real creative with it.
I think I got this from Will Smith. If you don't want to be talked about, don't be famous. Be a nobody. And nobody will talk about you. But if people are talking about you, that means obviously you have an impact. But going back to Ant,
Yeah.
it's just cool to see his development from a 3-star. He trained with Denny, with Carson Beck, Jeff Sims. Him, all three went to the Elite 11. So Denny, there's only 11 quarterbacks at the Elite 11. Denny had 3, and 3 of them in there.
Wow.
In 1 year.
Nice. Round of applause.
And he's Ant's the one who was the lower rated.
Really? Okay, that's interesting.
And right now is doing better. Now Carson is showing his ass right now. Like his Carson's about to be. Carson's going to be that
6
guy.
points. I was trying to catch some passes.
Yeah,
That kid is ridiculous.
Yeah. Like now, what I just did with Ant, I was thinking about doing with Carson because I had to tell Ant, like, listen, man, you zip this ball and whoop your fucking ass. I haven't caught a pass in a while. Like, man, you better tone that shit down. I saw Carson throw the next day. I'm not even want to talk to Carson. I be done whoop Carson's ass. I don't even want to deal with that
It's
shit,
content, man. It's content.
Like,
I'm putting out my. I'm gonna put out my catch of the pass whenever when the Jaguars drop their overall pick. I got a video edited waiting on it.
So like, but anyways, like just chopping it up with him, hearing his perspective, giving them the game. I like that because you know what's going to happen with Ant. Ant's going to graduate from Florida.
Okay.
He might become a Jaguar. He might become a Panther. Mm-hmm. He might become something. He might become that next big thing, and I hope it does. And my son's going to look up to him. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. I told a kid, DeMarcus Walker, who's like, well, he's not a kid anymore, but he's like my little brother. He played at Florida State. He was getting into it with Gator fans, like really like going back and forth. And I had to pull him to the side and say, hey, man, no, don't do that. He was like, I said, bro, Gator fans buy pro jerseys.
Yeah.
It's like, they're not liking you right now. But in a year, you may play for their favorite team, and you're going to be in a different area. Don't get caught up in the now and the emotions of now doing that. So, like, just to hear him talk about his mother, hear him talk about the upbringing, hear him talk about his little bro. Here's the reason why I think more athletes need to get in media. I can relate to everything that he said, and I can communicate that to the masses. For them, everybody can relate to being a brother or a big brother. Everybody can. If you can't relate to the struggle of not being able to eat like that, but like you can relate to a struggle. Or everybody likes the underdog story, the winner. And Miles did a good job of putting his puberty pictures in there, like his growth over a year.
They was over
like that's ago. Like everybody can relate to that awkward
this
stuff.
This man in high school,
like the year, like it was crazy. It was wow.
It was
transformation.
insane.
But while you find that, but the thing that I was looking for, and I just shared that, is he was talking about the NIL, and the NIL is, and I've done some, and I actually can parlay that into one of the next topics. The NIL is controversial to people because, for the first, my opinion as James Coleman, based upon, or let me deducing based upon what a bunch of people from different backgrounds, Bloods, Crips, Republicans, Democrats, hood, suburbs, are feeling is, for the first time, a sport that is primarily dominated by African American males, the guys can get paid out of high school. And they're worried about, oh my God, people are going to take advantage of them. What it reminds me of is, again, I'm a history major at Florida State. African American studies was my emphasis. Through the course of history, people have made, now recently it's gotten better, but before everybody thinks the Civil Rights Act with the magic pixie dust that got sprinkled and racism evaporated. Before that, if you interviewed Southern white males, what they felt was their duty was to protect, and why they felt the way they felt about African Americans was to protect white women, protect their children, and going on down the road. And like the last on the list was protect law. And they felt like it was their Christian duty to do that. But when you ask African American males what their thoughts were, it was to take care of their family, take care of, be able to earn a living and not be messed with, and have the freedoms and inalienable rights that they were taught about. That's always been the struggle of, and really you can take it away, remove race, whatever. You can take it. That's typically what the fight is for the lower class. When you look at the NIL, it's a bunch of people saying they're afraid that people are going to take advantage of these young men, that they're not going to know what they need to do. And sums up what every athlete is truly thinking about for the most part. Yes, the opportunity to make money, to send money home to your family right now is great. But I have to be good at football. They're worried about football still. And it's a bunch of, instead of asking the young men, people have put words in their mouth and their ideas of and you'll see this as a content creator. People will judge your comments and what you're doing through the lens of their perspective and their insecurities. What other planet, like 2% of the population gets a chance to play college athletics? Excuse me, not 2% of the population. That's way low. Still a low number. 2% of all athletes in high school get a chance to play college athletics. In what world does the top 2%, the top 5% of the population not get paid? If I told you, you're going to go see a top 5 dentist, do you expect your copay to just be $20?
No, not at all.
He's the best dentist. He's gonna charge you. He's gonna hit you over the fucking head. Why wouldn't he get paid? It's crazy. It's excellence. Excellence is supposed to be rewarded. And the crazy part is it doesn't even hurt you. But the benefits and the effect of the game, I always tell people, if you're that worried about kids being manipulated and taken advantage of, why don't you go help them? Reach out. Which is effectively is what I like to do with Ant. And if you listen to the interview, it's a lot of questions and like, hey man, good perspective. This is what you should do, blah, blah, blah. It was great chopping it up. I hope to be able to talk with him more. Love the kid. I told him the only thing I'm mad at him about is beating my alma mater with one leg. I'm very upset. I don't know how that even happened.
Yeah.
It should not have happened. And we even talk about some of his teammates because I'm a self-aware guy. If you were here at Goodfellas when we had the FSU UF watch party here. And their running back, Pierce, ran possessed on one play. I was like, yo, that man has got emotional issues. Why is he so angry? And I was like, that's the way I want a running back to run.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I didn't care where he went to school at. That's the way the game is meant to be played. That's being an adult. I played in that shit. And I talk to Florida players all the time. It's you fans who are the ones who make this shit weird. Jacquez Green is one of the best receivers ever played a game. I love talking with Jacquez. Shannon Snell of offensive lineman for University of Florida works at Sonny's. Man, that man can make some barbecue like a motherfucker. Matter of fact, fuck you, Shannon, because you ain't gave me no barbecue in a while. But I learned that Shannon's barbecue, his Sonny's barbecue, whatever he does, is different than the other Sonny's.
You put a little extra love on it.
I tasted that mess. I was like, that ain't what the fuck I get from Sonny's, man. Like, that don't taste as delicious as what you just did, Shannon.
Put some fat love in there.
But Shannon, my guy, I love what he does. Like, Shannon's a dope dude. Now, I don't like him 1 week out of the year. Outside of that, I really don't care. If they go defeated, I'll be okay. If they win games, I don't want them to win a national championship. Not because I don't want them to be successful. I don't fucking feel like hearing their mouth.
Yeah.
That's the real thing. But I ain't ready to, but some of y'all be ready to fight over this shit. Like, man, what the fuck is wrong with you? Anyways, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so are you excited? Did y'all talk about the game coming up this year?
No, because I want them to lose.
All right.
But I did tell them that I want you to be successful in everything except for once a year.
Except for one time a year.
Yeah, but I'll be at that game. I don't go to Gainesville. I will go to the game in Tallahassee. I don't go to Hogtown. Just makes my skin itch, and I don't like the place. But I will go to Tallahassee. But I got a chance to talk because there's some things that I do behind the scenes. Again, when people tell me to stick to sports, I don't know how to. I am not a serial. I am a
human.
I'm a human. Yes. I also have I studied politics when I was in high school. I got selected to this thing called Florida American Legion Boys State. So I just choose to not talk about politics because 90% of y'all don't know what you're talking about. But I was trained to learn about politics in the state of Florida and how this. I was elected lieutenant governor by a landslide. I should have ran for governor, but I let somebody else do it. My boy Keith Green won. It was the first. It was all black cabinet. Like the governor was Keith Green. He was black. I was lieutenant governor. I was black. All from the hood. Too.
I was black.
I'm not black. I'm OJ. Okay. But I say all that to say is that I'm well versed in a lot of stuff. For a kid from my neighborhood, I'm pretty well versed. But I got a chance to. There's a lot of collectives from Florida State that have reached out to me, and there's one that's coming up, and I hope it fleshes out. It does what it's supposed to do. But we talked with Aaron Murray from the University of Georgia, and their collectives and about NILs and NFTs and things like that. It's just so amazing what has happened to the people who actually are really concerned and are jumping to solve the problem. If you're capitalism is basically, I found a problem. We have a problem. I found a solution. And now you got to pay for the solution, but I found a solution to solve the problem. This is nothing but capitalism 101, what everybody says they love, except for when it benefits people that they feel will get a jump over them. Like, to me, I don't care what, a Hove bar. Respect the game. That should be it. What you eat don't make me shit. You become a multimillionaire. It doesn't change my status. You making more money doesn't affect me. I'm still gonna make what I make.
That's just in the mindset that a lot of people, man, especially people like who you think might be rooting for because they like you when you're on the same level, but they think that your win is their loss. It's just that mindset, like that's not always the case, and people don't have to feel that way, dude. A win is a win. Support, your life is your own life, but people can't get out of that mindset of, oh, this person's winning, I must be losing sometimes. Right.
The biggest thing that you can do with NILs, with the Anthony Richardsons of the world, support them. Help guide them through this. And treat them like normal humans. Treat them like you would treat your sons. Treat them like you would treat your brothers. Don't, like people say athletes act like they're better than everybody else, or even entertainers or celebrities. I've been around a lot of these cats. I actually met Will Smith, ironically, in 2005. When you talk to them like how we're talking, they'll talk back to you that way. When you have this air, you're like, oh my God, they're on this elevated pedestal, they won't talk to you that way. They'll treat a lot of times people are, and why I keep a lot of the same friends and why I truly value the ones that I've had for years is because they do keep me on. They are the ones who can talk to me and know what my triggers are, know what the stuff is, know how to reach me. That's why I think my mom is one of the dopest people on earth. It don't matter what I do. My mama know how to get to me. I might not like it, but that's my mama, and she gonna do what it is. But you got anything else?
Do I have anything else?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, man. Just back to doing shows. I've been doing pretty much a lot of new material and stuff, trying to get ready for the Tallahassee show that you brought up. So I'm excited about that.
Definitely. Okay, so we can go into that. So yes, it is going. Went to the cigar lounge. We're gonna have $25 VIP. We only got 50 seats. It'll be covered under a tent. You'll have a table. You'll have chairs. If not, just come for free. It's donations. Basically, I just want as many people to come out support. Really, it was just gonna be some funny motherfuckers with the DJ.
Do we know where it is?
Capital Cigar Lounge. Outside. It's outside. The weather's gonna be great. It's supposed to be like a high of 73, 75 that whole weekend. So like
now.
8 to 10 p.m. Well, 8 p.m. is when I want the show to start. Y'all will be done before 10, and then we just gonna spin music, and we just gonna vibe. But I went over to Tallahassee yesterday. Checked out the pro day. Shout out to Jermaine Johnson. Shout out to those guys. Jermaine Johnson is who I wanted to go see, and he did so well at the combine. He was like, "Nah, I'm just gonna bench press. I'm good."
Yeah. Did y'all record?
Record much of it. I didn't do anything, so I just let them. I've been there before in that time. Like, do your thing.
Miles, we gotta get this stuff.
For real.
You don't care about it.
Yeah.
It's for the YouTube.
Fair. I should have thought about that. Jay Sean Corbin, really good running back. He had a really, really good day. Made some money. Did well moving out the backfield.
What do y'all talk about? Like you and those. Like, what is a casual conversation with you and just those kids?
What's going on, man? What's good with you? You good, man? All right, cool, man. What the hell was going on? What you was thinking about when you against Notre Dame, or what was it like that? So a lot of it's really just I don't like when I come in. I'm at that weird age and going around Florida State where I'm not old, but I'm far from young, and it's like I don't even want to call myself an OG because that sounds weird.
You already put it out there. OG James.
Or like Unk is the new slang that everybody calls. I don't want to be.
Unk is just this generation's OG.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, I don't want to be Unk. I don't want to be that. I feel like I'm still young. I don't want to be old yet. Now hold on. Let me rephrase it. When I get old, I never thought I was going to live this long, growing up. But now that I've lived this long, I want to live to be old. I want to be, and when I consider, and what's wild, is when I get to that age, I'm probably not going to think that's old anymore. Because I used to think 30. Like, the way the 80s sitcoms made 30 look like everything was like, the world was about to end.
I think that was the 80s genes,
right?
Not the 80s sitcoms.
So, like, I think I talked about it. Carl Winslow was my age in Family Matters. And receding hairline, all these other things, old. Like, Carl Winslow looked like he only had 10 more years to live. And I was like, I don't want to ever look like that. Like, now, at 38, it's 38-year-olds just having kids, like just getting the thing started. But I think 65 is a solid age to be an old man. And when I turn 65, I fully plan on truly not giving a fuck about anything.
So you're
just talking my truth.
So 65 is OG or old?
That's like true OG. True OG. That's like true.
All right. Well,
like, because you can just go around.
Is 30, 40.
Yeah, I guess fine. Like you just like the old men that I know are loud. The old black men loud, proud, all that stuff. Like, I told them when I went to the cigar lounge, I was like, I know y'all lying because I can hear you from 200 yards away. Like, a loud black man is a lying black man. And I'm not saying like a bad, it's not an egregious lie.
That's pretty funny.
It's elite. We call it elite lies. Like, you telling some elite lies, and they're like, what is elite lies? Like, all right, I scored 10 touchdowns in college. By the time I'm 65, it's going to be 25 touchdowns.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are some elite lies. I wanted to, now, so this really happened, how I scored this touchdown it was Alltel then, TIA Bank, in the Gator Bowl. Actually, shout out to Mayor Lenny Curry. Like, so again, I'm nowhere, I should be more arrogant. The mayor of Jacksonville, shout out to him, I was one of his favorite fullbacks. Because they on a tweet.
We got to find that.
And he put the touchdown that I actually scored in Jacksonville against West Virginia. So what happened is I ran into a fucking wall and got stopped. But I kept moving my feet. I stepped back and I jumped. Miles was there when I actually broke it down for Dome Hats, my favorite touchdown. And I went play by play. I did a breakdown of it. By the time I'm 65 and I'm telling my grandkids that story,
it's gonna be Obama, not Lenny Curry.
I ran into Ray Lewis. Yeah, Obama. That was the president. Now let me tell you, you young whippersnappers think y'all got something going. Huh? They always do that little head thing.
The first black president came to watch me play football.
They do that head thing and that hand thing. See, back when Obama was watching me on the sidelines, I ran into that wall, and then the spirit of the Black Panther, the ancestors, came upon me.
Obama said, James, you better keep going.
And what I did was I jumped over the people. Like I took my knees up. Like I jumped 75 inches up to the air. Dad, granddad, or big daddy, that doesn't make sense. You can't jump. But I jumped 75 inches into the air. And I landed on my pinky toe. And I did a pirouette. And then I looked into the stands. And President Trump was there and he winked. He pointed at me and I pointed back.
That's my African American.
He said, yeah. So that's the version of an elite lie. That's elite lies right there, baby. And that's what I want to live to be able to tell them elite lies, because the elite lie has enough truth in it that it's believable, but it's so crazy that you're like, all right, man, he lying. I've wrestled and played with baby tigers in Africa. By the time, now, it was a baby tiger. It was 2 years. Now, don't get it twisted. Baby tiger can whoop your ass. But I did. It was a baby tiger. But by the time I'm 65, I went into the jungles and I found a Belgian tiger. And I decided that I just wanted to bully the Belgian tiger. Or I'm going to be like, all right, son, you've seen them clips of Will Smith and shit. Fuck that shit. Anybody can slap Chris Rock. You know what Big Daddy did? Big Daddy went into Africa, into the Congo. And I seen the tiger and I said, bitch, you just a big furry pussy. And I went and slapped that motherfucker.
Why are you talking like a Boondocks character?
But I'm saying that's how you gotta talk. Old black men don't like. I envision my cadence is gonna be different, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I slapped the shit out of tiger. Fuck, slap the shit out of petite males. Anybody can do that. I looked a tiger. Or actually, you know what? Fuck a tiger, because the lions were there too, but it was the tigers. The lions are lazy as shit, but nobody knows that. So I looked Mufasa in the fucking face. I grabbed him by his mane. And I smacked him. And I with the front, and I came back with the backhand and said, bitch, this is my pride now. And walked off. Elite lies. But, and then what happens is, so these young whippersnappers, they're good. What happens when you get a bunch of former football players, which happens in spring games? So if you're coming to Tallahassee, we're having basically an alumni weekend, Friday free comedy show at the Capitol Cigar Lounge, like we talked about. Saturday's a tailgate for $25. All you can eat, all you can drink. All you can smoke cigars by thehumidor.com. And I think Sunday we're going to do a special brunch for MFTK Foundation. Everything that you spend that weekend is going to the MFTK Foundation for us to be able to give out 2,000 plus book bags this year. But when you get a bunch of us old guys together, we're telling stories that in the locker room that you ain't never heard before. So like, I can't wait for Jermaine and those guys to get done with their careers. They come back. And what happens is you learn is that the same stories are told generation to generation because we've all been through the same things. We've all done pro days, we all done combines, we all absolutely hate practice. We love games, but you hate practice. But again, just to go put a knot on pro day to talk about practice, I know a lot of FSU fans are listening and you want to get that feedback. The pro day, Nico Dotson did very well. He put his stuff, but it's unfortunate. We had a lot of transfers. This just wasn't a talent-rich team. I think in the next 2 years, you'll start to hear more guys from Florida State come out and are performing at a high level. But Jermaine Johnson made a lot of money just in general. And we talked about this too on Monday's show. It was a couple of agents like, I can't believe he's not working out. What is this? And I had to ask, but it's like, yo, why do you care? Like, if he worked out today, is he going to move up in the draft? Well, probably not. Then that's why, you know why he didn't work out.
Yeah.
You know it. Like,
did you work out today?
Yeah. Like, I mean, like, why would he do that? Like, nothing good comes out. To be honest with you, he should have done the bench press. He was here to show support, get the interviews, and do those things. The people who made a name for themselves, Josh Corbin, Keir Thomas did well as well. And then, like I said, Miko, I think, did enough to be able to get himself an invite to rookie minicamp and be able to show those things. That's what pro days are for. The practices, I'm not going to lie. Coach Norvell echoed this at the end of practice. This was the worst practice that I've seen. I'm not going to lie. I am so glad Trey didn't come with me.
Really? Okay.
The intensity was way down. It just wasn't. It was just, you were going through the motions. And I'm not judging too harshly because that happens, man. Spring is terrible because there is no real end goal. Like the game the game is nothing more than a scrimmage that you do every weekend. You've seen these guys, you know their tendencies. You're trying to fight for something, but these are also kind of like your brothers. When you have a Saturday game against a different opponent, it changes things a little bit because you don't like those guys.
Yeah,
you're trained to not like, okay, I want to fuck you up. I don't want to fuck up my homeboy. I don't want to get him hurt and then we can't play. But I also think there's that mentality that what Florida State had that made them what they are. And again, we are. And I did an interview with man, what's that thing? Anyways, I'll share it. Noah's Anonymous. I'm trying to think what my man T1 does. The group. It's with the same group that he's with. It's one of the podcast networks, but whatever. I talked about like I am who I am through and through. Like I obviously I'm sane a little bit, but you have to be a little bit crazy to play with a broken hand, cracked jaw, torn labrum, all these different things like at the same time, and go out there and just consistently hit people. Like that's not normal. It took me some years of maturity to realize that that's not normal. But like that's what was there at the time though. Like we had guys that, like we talked with Anthony Richardson, that like going back home wasn't an option. Like we just we're not finna go. I'm not going back to the hood. I'm not going back to not eating. Like you gave me Corey Fuller, who's over there as a director of player personnel, made this statement. Like, hey, I never thought about it like this. You really don't realize how good you have it as a football player. Like you want it better because you're providing service, but like a lot of these guys will tell you they share rooms. Like we shared a bathroom for most of my life. We had one bathroom in my house that I shared with my mom and my sister. I got my own bathroom when I was in college. Yeah. I had my own room where nobody could just, because my mom was one of them people. Privacy, you get privacy when you pay bills. You in my house. Like you keep that door cracked, do whatever. Like, you know, somebody made me mad, I want to go yell. I can go yell and nobody go come in there and say, who you talking to? You're getting paid a little bit. You're getting fed. Like it's really, yes, they should pay athletes, but there are worse deals you can have than what you're doing right now.
You can be at that school and not be an athlete.
Right. And
I was in Tallahassee dying.
Yeah. You can go do like you can get your financial aid, you can get other shit, but like it's just not there's a lot of perks that come with it for what you, and you're playing a game you like. But I was coming in to take people's jobs. I was brought in to take some, like literally, you were Florida State. The cool thing about it is that every year they brought in somebody to take your job, and you knew that. It was their job to take it. And with that came a level of intensity, knowing that if I don't do what I need to do, the number twos will. Yeah. And then I'll be a number two, or worse, probably a number three. And I got to keep grinding. Like when my son's godfather went up there, they were at Georgia over the weekend. And that's the intensity that Kirby Smart brought there, who came out of the Florida State tree. But Kirby Smart's got that there. They're recruiting 5 stars at every position every year. So the intensity is these guys are popping, they're running into each other. Because if I don't do that, the guy behind me is going to do it. And it's a people can blame. I hate culture, the word culture. Because like none of these motherfuckers is going out here trying to lose. And 24, they practice 28 periods. So do 28 times 5, and that's how long you're out there in practice. It's 28 5-minute periods. And so about 2.5 hours. And it was hot yesterday. If I got to be out here 2.5 hours, I might as well get my money's worth. And it's not that everybody's performing bad. It's just not up to the standard. And what I loved at the end of practice, and what I always tell people, why I like Coach Norvell, and why I kind of believe in him. And at the end of the day, wins and losses. If he wins, he'll be here. If he doesn't, he won't. But at least he understands what needs to be done and what needs to be said. is that he said this ain't the standard. Matter of fact, hold on. I actually put it inside the fifth quarter. Hold on.
What was up? This is Coach Novell.
Coach Mike Norvell.
I say it like that.
White Mike.
I only met him one time. I was the only time I ever went on a walk in Tallahassee. I was walking with my track friends. We walked past the stadium through that little underpass and things. He had just recruited that one guy. He's standing right outside in front of the stadium all by himself. And nobody, like, my friends didn't know who he was. I was like, "Oh, what's up, coach?" He was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Biggest smile on his face.
He'll talk to you, too. That's what's good about him.
He stopped and chat with us.
He's like, he made them boys do up downs, which I thought was awesome. Now, their up downs were terrible. Would not have been acceptable for Mickey Andrews, but they were done still. We have to be better as a football team. That was not the standard. Thursday, we need to step our asses on the field. You better be ready to go. Be accountable. And I was like, yo, that's what I'm talking about. Never satisfied. Never satiated. That's for fans. And I've said this the entire time that I've been covered, that entire time he's been there. I'm like, when I interviewed him the first time, I was like, yo, I like this guy. This guy got bars. He said, it doesn't matter the star that you come in. What matters is the star that I make you. I was like, wow.
That's hard.
That's hard.
I might keep that in my pocket.
And a lot of people like to get on me, and they pick on me because I say the standard is the standard. Got that from him. He's like, I know what the standard is. I know what the expectations are. And I'm going to do it. And I'm like, all right. So every time I talk to him, I'm like, yo, he gets it. It's the fan. It's y'all are the ones with the low expectations. But again, what I talked about earlier today in the show, your perception and the way you basically view things are based upon your views in life. A lot of people tag didn't work. Tag sucked. I'll give you that based on the product. But you don't. The only thing I've ever stood to, and I defended Mike Norvell with this against people who were against them. You don't fire a coach before 3 years. You got to give the coach 3 years because then you have a real argument. But everybody started firing Tag. Basically, there was a group that fired him after the Virginia Tech game, the first game he ever coached. After Boise is when I started hearing from boosters and everything talk about. So the first game of year 2. That man, like when people are talking about firing you that early, outside of winning damn near every game, you're not gonna make it.
Yeah,
and that's okay. I'm not arguing that, but you also know deep down you're wrong. And what happens is when you're wrong, because we see this in politics too. The Bloods and the Crips do this. So when the Republicans are in office, all the Democrats do is bitch about everything that the Republicans are doing. When the Democrats get in office, it doesn't matter what happens. All they do is bitch about how bad the president is. Like, some of this shit is asinine. Like, I'm seeing some of the guys who I know got sense, who are Republicans, saying, oh, this is the worst president we ever had. You said that shit 1 month in. The bitch ain't even got, like, you don't even know his address yet. Like, you haven't even let him fail yet, but you're just mad because you feel your guy got the wrong end of the stick and nobody's being an adult about the situation. Like, we won't have growth as Seminole Nation until we at least are step back and we're all adults about the situation. Because at the end of the day, what do we all want at Florida State? Everybody who's a Florida State fan wants Florida State to win and be good again. What do we want to do from a political side as Americans? For the most part, everybody wants the country to be dope. But you can't be that if you always fucking arguing about stupid shit. And you're not aware of the fact that no matter who's in charge, the results and expectations come about. On the college side, it doesn't matter how good. Like, I tell people that, oh, it looks good. It looks better. Oh, it just feels better. No, bitch, we lost. It's a loss. A loss is a loss no matter how it feels. Like, no, I don't feel good after losses. But I do like, again, the guys are looking better. They look the part. The intensity was far few in between. When you look at what the standard is of championships, and that's right up the road in Athens. When you look at that, you're like, damn. And that's just not 5 stars with 5 stars. That's the intensity that has been brought in. And I'm not saying Mike's not intense or not try to handle it, but somewhere the communication was gotten there. And I think a lot, and that's why I think a lot of older guys coming back and relaying these messages, whether it's through their platforms, through social media, through telling the guys, just telling them the stories of what it was like, telling them what it used to be and how they can achieve that. It's basically what I told you about the burger. Men, be a father to your sons.
This man.
But you gotta be like, that's basically the thing. Men, be a fathers to your sons. But it's always dope going back to Tallahassee. I love that city. It's so cool, so cool. The only thing that's not cool is paying $4 a gallon for gas, because that makes me not want to go anywhere near as much. So,
you think you'd be good in college football today?
In today's game,
yeah,
I would need to be 3 inches taller, and I would play tight end, and I'd probably be all right. Like, one of the things I could catch, I never dropped a pass, because I was terrified of dropping passes. There's one stadium per drop pass.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Doak Campbell, call it 85 steps to glory. And my coach, I had such a hard time in the beginning, like trying to like run routes and catch it, and it was a concentration thing. And he said, "All right, I know how to fix this, because we don't fumble. One fumble was 3 stadiums.
Oh,
Billy Sexton didn't play that shit.
God,
like you want to see, and then when you fumble, Billy will put your ass under the bench. Lorenzo Booker fumbled the ball against Miami, pouring down rain. Like, if you give anybody grace, that's when you give them grace, right? No. He fumbled that bitch. Lorenzo, that was week 5. Lorenzo didn't see the ball again until the bowl game.
Damn.
Like, it was crazy how...
messed up the whole season. That's trash.
Like, he was just like, no, fuck you. I'm going to give the ball to the guys who don't fumble. But he did that with passes, too. So, like, he's like, if you drop one more pass, I'm going to give you a stadium per drop. And we threw the ball.
So like you had to run the stadium.
Not around. Like, literally, fuck running around. I would much rather do that. What happens with Doak, the first steps are good. And then, as you get higher, the steps stretch.
Oh, like the red...
It becomes a bound. You're literally jumping each step. And going up is bad, but it's not the worst. It's coming down that's the worst, because you got to, like... be in control, and you're taking these long steps coming down, and you can't walk down.
Yeah,
you have to sprint up, and you have to jog back down to go again. And I was like, nah, I'm cool. I won't drop it. So that's how I learned how to catch. But we ran fullback screens, ran fullback dives, flat routes. Like, I ran a wheel route. We ran a lot of things like at Florida State with the fullback. Like, it was like a treat. I would go bash your skull in for the opportunity to run short yardage. It was a good... I thought it was an even exchange.
Yeah.
Like, I get Leon and all these yards. I get the score if they... I used to actually wish they would get tackled on the 1 yard line.
That makes sense. You'd be like, they can call a play for me.
And then I'm like, go. Wait.
Slow down, bro. Slow down.
Then go ahead and trot in that bitch. And I was so arrogant at one point. Like, I was like, man... You know what's coming, baby. Everybody in the nation knew it was coming on 3rd and 1. It wasn't a fucking secret. It's not about if you know what's coming. It's can you stop it is what we at this point. And I was just like, football is pro sports in general, or even on that level, finding a niche, like, because everybody can't be a superstar, and I knew that wasn't my lane. Find what you do good, roll with it. And I think the problem is everybody want to be in relationships. Everybody want to be the number one, man. Sometimes being a good side chick or side dude is good.
It's important.
Like, you are here are you trying to win a championship as a team, or are you trying to be individual?
Yeah.
Because right now your job is to support the overall growth of the team.
Are you going to let us get to the top, or do you want me and you to be mid-level?
Right.
Come on now.
I want 100% man all to myself. Okay, 100% of zero is what? Zero. 50% of a million is what? A lot more than fucking zero. I can tell you that much. I don't even need to do the math. Like, the thing is, like, shit, where you had to play? You in the trailer park, but at least he's all mine. Nah, bitch, you mad. You got roaches and an eviction notice. You could have been flourishing. Now you're thinking about, man, was it really that bad when I was getting... Side chicks get all the good stuff anyway. Side dudes get all the good stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Like, without the obligations and the headaches of all the other shit. So.
If I would have had like 3 more inches, I would have been one of the greatest wide receivers ever to wear number 84 or cornerbacks. What? It doesn't matter.
Jesus Christ.
A couple more inches, I would have been there.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
I saw you try to do a pull-up on
that struggle.
That pull-up.
Boy, you talk about. Let me tell you how. Again, age. I was never great at overhand pull-ups, but I could pop out 10 in a row.
Yeah.
Multiple sets. If you go look at again, as I tell people, ain't nobody more real about themselves as me. Like, that's why I can talk like I talk about people.
You put it on Instagram?
It's on IG. It's on Twitter. It's on Facebook. I think, did I put it on? It's about to be on Facebook Reels too. I was walking into the weight room. I was showing people the weight room.
Oh, that's fine.
And I have a new vision. Like I said, I don't know if I want to be Miles or if I want to be my coach on Linear Coleman.
Or me.
Definitely can't. That's if I'm you, I've got like cancer or something.
Jesus Christ, man! What?
Like, it's no disrespect. I just can't get that. Like, I'm not gonna be that small, man. It's not gonna look good. But like, if you look at this, okay, great. I'm glad you got this. Man. One of those words, I didn't even know you can get IG on a.
Oh damn! People commented on this too.
Yeah. Just push play. It's okay. I am not worried about the pull up yet. I am gauging. Damn. Can I jump up and pull this bar? Get to this bar? So I got up there really good. I was impressed.
Like 50.
But the problem is, when I got up there, I was just like, I didn't expect to get up. I shocked myself. And then I did one pull up. And then I was like, okay, I should end here. Now let's try. Nope, got rejected. But like, if you look again, real talk, I am sitting there.
Yeah, why is it so high?
That's what I'm saying.
Because you're too old.
The shit is high. And I was like, if I jump up here and I miss this shit, everybody's gonna see it.
Let me see.
Because it is gonna hurt my self-esteem. Again, we want to talk about self-esteem.
They said, "Damn, gravity always trying to."
Right, and that's my dog. That's a former lineman for
Pro
Florida State.
Athletics.
That's my dog right there. Big Donald Haven, D Haven.
You want to read this one?
Yeah, read that. Give my dogs a shout out.
They call me Tycoon. Great name, by the way. Don't got to do pull-ups if they ain't gonna pull up. # Green Acres.
Facts. Facts. I know how to aim and shoot. I can point and shoot. You've seen enough. There's enough reels out here that people need to know these things.
DJ Pock 904 says, "Back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore."
That's what I should have put. That's the music I should have put. I put C.T. Fletcher in the background. One thing I hate is the average motherfucker, and that's basically what C.T. is saying. And in my head, I went in there like, because that's what I wanted to do. There's a C.T. Fletcher video. Now, C.T. takes a shot in the ass. No judgment, C.T. I love you. I still think everything you say is real. What people don't get about steroids is it's not a magic bullet. You don't just take the steroids and then the jack comes.
You know, like Mario taking that little mushroom.
Yeah, it ain't a magic one. Nah,
that's
a whole other show. Haven't done that before. But God. So that was the most terrifying, exciting experience I've ever had in my life. But like, you got to work out. But CT is like, he's like, pain is my friend. Pain is my motherfucking friend. I welcome it. I invite it to my house. Make dinner for it. Have a seat. Stay a while. Like, it's like when you hear him talk and shit, you be like, yeah. And then you realize, I can't do what this motherfucker do. Like, this motherfucker is really doing it. So, but yeah, so that's that. But going back to ifs, whiffs, shoulda, couldas, the NFL right now. It's cool. I get it. It'll make for more exciting times. The playoffs, we saw more overtime periods than we've really seen in the stretch of time.
Oh, the rule changes?
And we talked about this on Sports Den, where like, over like a span of 20 years, don't quote me because I don't have the article right in my face right now, but it was like 20 overtime games in like 10 years. Like, it's like an average of like 1 or 2 a year. So it really wasn't like we're making rules for something that over time is the game it's not supposed to happen. And what overtime's called is sudden death. It's not called in NFL, like that's what it's called. College is Kansas shootout. Everybody gets a chance. And then it's meant to be sped up. But the NFL is predicated on advertising dollars and TV. TV is very precise. Radio is too. And I'm not talking as a guy who's done both. Radio, if we go over in one segment, we can make up for it in other segments. TV, if you have a 3-hour block, bitch, that's a 3-hour motherfucking block.
Yeah.
Something else is going to get cut into if like it has dominance, but it's taking away the advertising and revenue opportunities for something else.
Yeah. I have the new
rules. Okay, I'm gonna get to that. So like the game isn't set up to go to overtime consistently. It's supposed to be like it's supposed to end. The people in suits talk about what happened in the game, and then you go to stay tuned for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Like or whatever we did.
This is 60 minutes.
After the conclusion of this game, The Simpsons was showing its entirety. Or some shit like that.
But I think it's good because like with that, they didn't do it in the regular season.
It's only playoffs?
Yeah, if you want to read it only changed in the playoff. I'll read it right here. The new playoff overtime rules. Both teams will have the opportunity to possess the ball in overtime in the postseason. If the score is tied after each team has possessed the ball, the next score wins. So the defense will still have to make a stop. If the team kicking off to start the overtime period scores safety on the receiving team's initial possession, that team kicked off is the winner. So they only change overtime rules for the playoffs. It doesn't affect the regular season at all, which I thought was a very smart move.
Okay, that's a little bit better. I thought it was for the whole year, but again, it's just there's three phases of football: offense, defense, and special teams. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 4 quarters. Each team has 4 15-minute quarters to play to use those 3 phases of football. If it goes to overtime or sudden death, that means in the 60 minutes before that, and you could not win. I don't care if it's equal anymore. If you would have done what the fuck you were supposed to do in the 60 minutes, we wouldn't be at this point. And yeah, it does come to a chance or a coin flip or something like that. But you know what? You can stop them. You can. It's things you can do.
So you wouldn't. So I mean, this whole thing came about, I think, because of the Bills Chiefs.
Right.
So you would not have wanted that game to go a little longer. Is what you want it to end.
Here's why. If I remember correctly, I want to go. Let me Google this.
Okay.
Bills versus Chiefs. I want to make sure. Okay, so it was 42. So it was at the Chiefs. So here's a lot of factors that go into this.
Okay.
During the regular season, the Chiefs won more games. That gave them home field. That's an advantage, but they were rewarded because they did what they were supposed to do in the regular season. The Bills were up at one point. Well, no, it was tied. Yeah, no, they were up at one point. Or they did enough to come back. They just didn't finish the drill. Like, that's your... It wasn't like somebody cheated during the course of the game and prevented you from getting this opportunity. You had every chance to stop them.
Except in overtime.
Now...
That was just the whole rule.
But the next week, you know what they showed us? That the game is meant to be played by men. If I can remember correctly, didn't the Bengals go into overtime? And didn't the Bengals make a stop? And didn't the Bengals win the fucking game?
Against what? Who?
I'm trying to remember. It was the next one. Let me make sure, because it was literally the next. And like it's like it makes your complaint look bad when. Oh, make sure I'm telling you. Yeah, the Bengals won. They kicked the field goal in overtime against the damn Chiefs. Novel concept. Play fucking defense.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
The Bills, it's not like the Bills have a sorry defense, and it's not like they played a different team. They played the same Patrick Mahomes. And I wouldn't have cried if the Chiefs would have won. Because the Chiefs was whooping their ass 21-10 up until that point. But then the Bengals came back and they played ball. It's not like you don't have your opportunities. And they made the rule, they already changed it a little bit. Because teams were really getting the ball and driving down the field, getting just inside the 40, kicking the field goal and the game was over. Now, I will admit, that's not fair. But they changed it to where if they only kick a field goal, then the other team gets the chance to do it again. Yeah. But the Bengals didn't even get to that point. They literally stopped the Chiefs and then drove down the field and kicked the field goal. Both teams got an opportunity to get the ball because one team played football. Like, because here's what happens. All right. Because one, discount how hard it is to score a fucking touchdown. If it was easy, again, the Bills game would have been over before that. It's not easy. It's hard. So putting a touchdown that already puts you at a situation where, all right, the only way to end this game is we gotta really put something together. We gotta stop. Your coordinators get paid millions of dollars for a reason. So I mean, I'm fine. So what happens when both teams score a touchdown? Is it on here? Do we keep playing again? Like, what happens when time runs out when they both score?
So it says if the score is tied after each team has possessed the ball, the next score wins.
Back to the original. So, okay, both of us score a touchdown. How is it fair that they get to score and end the game now? We're still in the same exact fucking predicament. The point is that don't go to overtime. Win the fucking game. Like it's reactionary at best, and I'm not I get it. Like some of y'all I'm not gonna fight you over it. Here's my opinion. Again, I just gave you a scenario that nobody can explain.
Go ahead. This rule just might make the NFL a couple more $1 million in them seconds.
But the problem is it could make the advertisers more money, but you can't. It's like you don't get more money because you can't bank in overtime. All you're doing is showing more commercials from the team that actually you're losing money in theory. So if McDonald's pays for 5 commercials, now you're in overtime to give McDonald's 2 more commercials. But McDonald's ain't going to pay you more money to show those 2 commercials. They're like, nah, that ain't our fault that your dumbass employees don't know how to end the game.
Nah, they're going to pay for them shit.
No, now maybe down the road. Now, the contract's been written. Now, down the road, they may be able to say, all right, we got 15 overtime games that we're going to bank for. They can do that. But, like, I just, the whole thing is we're rewarding people for, like, the worst thing that can happen, and it's still not changing anything.
Yeah.
It's because if the argument is it's not fair that both teams don't get to possess the ball, what happens when both teams score when they possess the ball? It's not fair that because one team's going to still have the advantage. Actually, you know what? If this is the case, right? If this is really what people are afraid of, is just go to college rules. Go to Kansas shootout. Both teams, if you start off, both teams get the ball on the 20, and you get 4 plays to score. Then if you do that twice, then basically it's 2-point conversions. You put the ball on the 2, you gotta go. You gotta go for it. And eventually somebody's gonna win. But if the goal isn't if it's not fair because everybody doesn't get a chance to score, then you didn't change it. Like, in my opinion. So
yeah, no.
Alright. So the camera's loading or slowing?
Slowing down.
Okay, anyways. Yeah. All that being said, appreciate y'all coming in. YouTube, The Sports Den, @SportsDen_live on IG. Twitter, The Sports Den on Facebook. Make sure you go check out the different mediums to consume us. Look at
Anthony Richardson interview
right
now.
Look at the Anthony Richardson interview right now.
Miles put that together. Shout out to Miles.
Yeah, Miles did a good job. We got more content. We'll have like little clips of the different shows. More than just the 1 minute. What you think. It's more thought-provoking than what it looked like. And,